Welcome back to the podcast, guys. The podcast is Let's Get Ballyer Talking. Today we're talking about icons.
Yeah, so one point we have is icons today versus icons back in the 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
Like you have Freddie Mercury, well known. You have Boy George, all these different artists. That their orientation wasn't the point.
Yeah.
These are good artists who are extremely talented, doing an amazing show. Like Live Aid, for example.
100%.
Versus today, where artists who are gay or in a member of the gay community, it's all about their orientation.
I only think that that's the case because the hate is more widespread now. Because we can see all the hate because of social media, so they have to be more kind of loud and proud about it to counter all of it.
Yeah.
I think that's why they do. I could be wrong.
It's definitely a thing, but also back in the day, you wouldn't really become famous if you're gay.
Yeah, sure.
Unless you were really good at what you did.
You're one of a kind, like
Yeah,
Freddie was.
like Freddie Mercury, David Bowie, they were all
like generation
comfortable with who they were.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't have gotten to where they were, if they were.
Yeah, of course.
If they didn't create phenomenal music. For
Yeah.
the time.
Elton John, like
John.
Yeah.
all of his outfits. A lot of people didn't know he was gay.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
He was just flamboyant.
Elton John, he had a what would be called a cover wife back in the
back years.
so to like pretend that he was straight, but he was very much
Not
very much
that.
gay.
Not that.
But if you look at his even his iconic Dodgers outfit from his Dodgers gig, like it's blue, blue sparkly to the
the
full.
fashion.
Bending the jets, like kind of like.
Okay.
It's very obvious now, like.
It's also, back then, it was on pure talent.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times today, if someone is up to gay community, they will get support, even if they're not that good.
Yeah.
But back then, it was...
Is it Jojo C? What did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jojo Siwa like self-identifies as like the first big gay pop star.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
so it's
Just
not
kind of
have you listened to music before?
Yeah. Like, if you look at, say, a modern artist being Lil Nas X,
Yeah.
and how traditionally Christian religion would be, it's bad, it's wrong, it's a sin, and then him having a music video or show with demons in it, doesn't really matter. Like, so what, he has demons.
Yeah.
Look at the talent.
Exactly. He's so
He
talented.
knows what he's doing.
Exactly.
He's not my favourite artist, but he is an incredible artist.
Yes.
And a lot of people in the queer community as well have a problem with the whole conveying demons.
Yeah.
But it's used traditionally for straight artists all the time.
Of course.
From Tenacious D,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Foo Fighters, any kind of,
More kind of rock
metal,
band.
more
Yeah.
rock band kind of thing. Like, it just because he's pop and
Yeah.
because he's gay, like, a lot of people like think that he's demonizing being gay, whereas it's Christianity
But
and the religion.
he's shown what's been done.
Yeah, and it's like, it's just, at the end of the day, it's just an aesthetic.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people like horns and
Yeah,
stuff.
of course.
Not necessarily believing it or believing it's evil or...
But just
Throughout history, with demons, not all of them are bad.
Yeah.
Some demons brought fortune and happiness and got rid of the bad stuff. Like, it's not
But the
always
thing with
bad.
this phrase as well is like he was completely misunderstood. He was tasked to be like the kind of judgment person. Like he wasn't giving people punishment that they didn't deserve.
It was their
He was
actions
being
that
given
sent
bad
there.
names. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
At the end of the day, he was cast out of heaven for not loving humans more than his
Yeah.
father. That's why he sent there.
Yeah, which is like the ego.
That's
The
the
ego trip. Like
religion as a whole thing, and it's kind of like used a lot of time to make things out to be what we would consider evil.
Yeah.
or demonic is usually the term they'd use,
Yeah.
but it doesn't necessarily have to be that. Some people just like the look of things.
Yeah.
Some people think it's cool. A lot of people nowadays with interests in, let's say, anime and mythology and stuff. It's more commonplace to have that kind of in your media or creative arts or representation nowadays.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be seen as evil.
no,
Although I can understand to some extent why people would see that because they're just putting two and two together.
Yeah.
Which most people, would
guys will
eventually
do.
come to.
Personally, though, I think it's a bit more nuanced than that, though, and I think that's what's missing. Because, like, I can see where they're coming from, being like, oh, that means it's evil, but you have to kind of take a step back and be like, okay, what's the wider thing here?
Yeah, what's the context of the actual situation?
Exactly. It's, at the end of the day, music is an art form.
Yeah.
It's used to...
It's a self-expression.
Exactly. It's used to express stuff. It doesn't necessarily have to be seen as good or evil. Although a lot of people, even though we're so progressive now and we accept gay artists and they're popular nowadays, likes of Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
Chuck Ballroom not exactly being queer themselves.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's seen as an icon for the community.
One thing she does do is the reason she goes to drag makeup is because where she's from, people as an insult would call people who are gay clowns.
Oh, really?
So she's doing it as, hey, here I am, don't like it, there's the dog.
Oh,
and she's an incredible artist.
It's a really
it's like a
big
thing. That's very awesome. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
That's like you don't necessarily have to be queer to be an ally or to stand for something.
Yeah,
like music has always been about conveying a message that you want to convey. It's more acceptable nowadays, but people still villainize it.
And there's still people that don't accept queer people.
Exactly. There's still some crazy amount of backlash. Like for instance, our Eurovision contestant Ballyer apparently thought they identified as non-binary, and they were like really for rights and humanity, etc. And they got so much backlash for being non-binary, and they're like, oh, look at this Ireland. But at the end of the day, they were a good person, and they stood for things that most people would see as more right.
I actually think Bandy's take was so refreshing. Being from a country like Ireland, and all your thought is like gay is bad and evil and all that, and just taking that, like taking what they were raised with and being like, no, fuck that, I'm going to do the exact opposite, because what I've seen is not the Ireland that I want it to be.
Yeah, exactly. Even though it is 2025, Ireland only started getting progressive in the late 90s.
Yeah.
It was a very backwards country.
Yeah.
It was very closed, something bad happened, no talk about it, ignored it, go away. It's only say the turn of the century that people realise we need to stop and call out what's going on.
Well, you're dead right.
And stopping those people.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of what topic or what's going on, speak up and do it. Well, today we're doing that.
It's the whole thing of like going along to get along. So if something happened, you just wouldn't bring it up.
Yeah.
You pretend everything was fine and like everything was normal. You wouldn't talk about your problems. Whereas I feel like that's changing now.
Yeah.
It's better.
It's a step in the right direction. But like in the sense of like Ireland being backwards, even as recent as like the likes of the gay marriage referendum.
Yeah.
There was a fierce amount of backlash on that.
I remember walking to school, and there were several posters that were like, oh, I'm a gay man and I don't want to get married, so like no one should want to get married. I'm like, that's not the issue here. Like, you could not get married.
It's the fact that you're literally not allowed.
Yeah. It's the fact that we are not allowed to do this.
That's the thing. It's at the end of the day, right? It's the same thing as the Black Rights Movement in America, right? It's they want not exactly independence in this case.
Yeah.
They just want the same rights.
Yeah. Yes.
Everyone has.
Yeah,
they want to be important.
Exactly. They don't want to be seen as on like an upper level kind of thing.
Yeah,
they just want to be.
They don't want to see this one be equal. They just want literally be.
Yeah.
Just given the they want the same opportunity.
Like, one person who wasn't gay, but helped the gay community was Princess Diana.
Oh,
yes.
Like during the 80s and 90s, she went in to people who thought she suffered from AIDS.
Yeah.
From the HIV virus, went in and shook their hand.
Yeah.
Even though medical professional nurses wouldn't go near.
Yeah, that was big time. That was big. That was
actually
not like
it's bodily fluids.
Yeah. Can you actually imagine that? Like just being like, oh no, don't touch those people because like they're bad, they're wrong.
There's a huge stigma.
Yeah, she accepted people for who they were. And didn't, even though she was a princess of a big empire at the time, she treated people as human.
Yeah.
Like, I'm no better.
She's an actual good person, whereas like she wasn't trying to hide behind her.
No.
Yeah.
Like she was great friends with Elton John, Freddie Mercury, the whole, because they were good people.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. At the end of the day, it's like, we just want to be ourselves.
Yeah.
And like the reason we're seeing more gay artists in like pop culture nowadays is not only because, it's they can still rise to fame with being themselves. It's it's a lot of people are coming out now because there's a bigger community than there was 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, heck, 5 years ago, there was a lot less support for the community.
It's also good that straight artists today are performing with gay artists.
Yeah.
There was, only last, say, 4 or 5 years, there was, I don't know the name of the artist, but it was an American country artist.
Yeah.
He was a man singing about another man.
Yeah.
And an artist that he loved to work with said, I can't be involved with this because this will ruin my career.
That's wild.
And all he was going to do was literally be in the background of the video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because he's a straight man in the southern of the United States, it would ruin his entire career.
He'd be popular in the South, and he toured a lot in the South, so it would just bring a lot of...
Yeah, he would lose everything because you're just saying in a gay video.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't doing anything.
Yeah. He's just in the video.
Yeah, being connected with it, just doing it. That wasn't that
wild.
long ago.
Yeah.
that was
But if you look at artists now, like different artists walking together,
Yeah.
don't really care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the way it should be.
Yeah,
really.
absolutely. Like,
Yeah, I understand.
a good artist that is known that did get a lot of backlash was Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
Because yes, they are a very attractive
Yeah.
person, but people say, "Oh, you're queerbaiting, you're doing this, you're doing that." They're just being who they are.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they're attractive; they're just being who
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah.
And people are giving just hell for it.
I'm going to be honest, I actually I
go for it.
really liked seeing Billie Eilish's videos, specifically the ones that were like to do, like with sleep paralysis, because I get night terrors and it's like a really good representation of what it feels like. It feels like suffocating and scary. And like seeing
That's
that
because
represented.
like at the end of the day, you know, these artists are also people.
Of course.
And like she must have been feeling all that backlash whether
Yeah.
she had someone looking at her. So
Of course, yeah.
And obviously that could lead to the sleep paralysis and anxiety, which
Yeah.
a lot of people in these situations face. You know?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't. The thing was with this was it was the gay community
Yeah.
having a go at it
Yeah.
because yes, they're beautiful and all that.
Yeah.
But are you gonna support them because they're gay? Or
Yeah.
because they're start talking to artists?
Yeah.
Because as soon as they came out and identified themselves,
Yeah.
oh, that's okay now.
Yeah,
No, what you've done was wrong. You
Yeah.
harassed this person,
Yeah.
gave them crap and hell
You can't just pretend
for your
that you didn't do it now.
fantasies.
Yeah, like
It's wrong.
the backtracking is crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
oh, you're gay, that's fine.
yeah, your orientation has nothing to do with whether or not you're good or bad.
It was the same thing with Shawn Mendes actually.
yeah.
When
Yeah.
he broke up with Camila Cabello, people were like, "Oh, why are you not with her? She's gorgeous. You must be gay."
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, it was a big thing with One Direction as well.
Oh, yeah.
They all thought
Yeah,
that they were gay. There was all the different little relationships
Yeah.
that people had like in their minds thinking that, and actually like I think like it drove like a wedge between like some of the friendships because it was
completely.
so
Of course. Can you imagine
crazy,
like one of your best mates and people are like, "Oh, they should have sex."
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like
or they're secretly together.
Yeah, or
or
they're
that's
secretly
like they have to be careful but where they're going in public because if they
Yeah.
get photographed
Yeah,
together by
yeah,
paparazzi or something like that, people would just get
people say
yeah.
the straight community fantasize lesbians
Yeah.
and bi women.
Mm.
But that's wrong. But you cannot turn around and do the
Yeah,
exact same
exactly.
thing because
Yeah,
they
yeah.
do wrong.
Yeah.
exactly.
You
You
don't
can't
actually
It goes both ways.
Yeah, you cannot say, "Oh, I'm gay, it's fine." No.
Yeah.
Being a crappy person is
Yeah.
nothing to do with your orientation.
It doesn't.
A lot of people say, "Oh, well, I'm gay, it's just my personality."
Yeah,
No,
no.
you are a bad person.
Yeah.
You just have to be
Well,
gay.
so that's the thing as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
like
like
we're not. No one is better. We're all humans.
You're
We're all just
equal,
want to be
yeah.
ourselves at the end of the day.
I mean, regardless of your orientation, everyone's a little shitty sometimes. Everyone can be a great friend. Everyone can be like a flaky friend.
Yeah.
That's not
Make mistakes.
Everybody has those
That's
things.
the thing. And like I think it's with social media nowadays, like the reach it has. A lot of people can get lost in that. The fact that these popular people like Lady Gaga was still reaching out with the social
Yeah.
medias around back then, and the same as Billie Eilish. They all got backlash and said, "You're so and so," blah blah blah. But like at the end of the day, I feel like because it's so easy to just say these things online, you need to remember that these people are just people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we're all
Yeah.
people.
Well, see, that's the thing
Yeah.
as well. Like, it actually reminded me of like not even just in the queer community, but like the stuff that public figures get sent to them on like social media, like Instagram, is like horrific. Like it's like, and people are like, "Oh no, like I'm just behind a keyboard," so they feel like they can get away with it.
Yeah. Like looking at modern artists versus artists from the say 70s
Yeah.
upwards, they're still fighting the same fight.
Oh yeah,
They just follow out. They have a passion. They
Yeah.
follow it. Just let them.
they want to live and not be afraid to get murdered.
Like an Irish band to bring up, Westlife, one of their members
Yeah.
was a gay man.
Yeah,
He had to have his entire life out in the open
Yeah.
for everybody
absolutely wild.
because the fact that yes, they're singing about women.
Yeah.
But guess what? Flip out.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to change the lyrics.
No.
It's still about love.
Yeah.
Like his song,
That's even
Find Out Wins,
Yeah,
was about loving someone.
yeah,
Who cares? I mean, he had to go publicly across the nation at the time, was very backwards and
Yeah.
into this,
Mm.
and has entire life out in the open.
Yeah, no,
Just because someone's a celebrity does not mean they don't deserve
Like,
privacy.
yeah. Of course, like they put out what they want to put out.
Yeah.
I need to respect
And like
that.
crazy how people just want to be treated with respect.
Yeah,
and
literally.
live a normal life.
Exactly.
But no, you have to like spill out your whole business
Yeah.
because people are going to portray it in all sorts of different ways, you know. And it's shit that we have to do that.
So we're probably going to leave that there for now. Thanks for listening.
Day.
Yay.